Hey guys, happy Thursday. How's it going? Um Guys, what is going on? Happy Thursday. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way in. Monique M, hello, how are you? Welcome to the chat and thank you for being notification gang today. I appreciate that. Guys, Monique was first in the house. Can DC? I don't know. Can DC? I have no idea. Missy, what's going on? Hi, Erics. Hey, Jessica. Hey, Mrs. Wright. Hi, Danny Love. Olivia Pope. Girl, you naughty lady. But I'm not, that's where I'm going to leave it because, what goes on YouTube, if you don't catch it, yeah, it just stays potential receipt. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, ma'am. Danielle Sykes, what's going on, lady? Hey, Amber. Hi, Cheryl Waz. BG, what's going on? Miss SWV, Jessica, Tara, 1980, Anna B. Did I say Mrs. Wright already? I have a friend whose last name is Wright. How are you, Mrs. Wright? Hi, Danny Love, Danielle Sykes, Amber, um, Anna B, Danny Love. I'm probably repeating myself, but I see a lot of new names. Erica F, Courtney, Fixing Mommy Project. What's going on? Sherry Lejeune, what's going on? V Love BBW, the Erics, Danielle, Capricorn, D Harold, Miss Coco, NC Peters, Sharon Smith, Anisha, what's going on? Estrelita, Ivy, Makeup Artist. Don't play with me. I know what MUA means. Devly Creations, what's going on? Dr. Amira. Um, did I see everybody? What's up? What's up? Nisha Ellis, what's going on? Um, Olivia is always acting. I'm not talking about that Olivia. I'm talking about Olivia Pope. Guys, don't forget, hit that like button. Trust me. Um, it works. It helps me, and it keeps it popping up in here. Miss SWV, Lisa Lindsay, Latoy, what's going on? Doing the most. Thank you, doing the most. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. HBB, welcome, welcome, welcome. Gwen, you're out there. Hello. All the regulars, C Talk, everybody. K Sharice, T Lee, everyone. I mean, Gwen, everyone will be in soon. And if you're not catching it, did I see Estrelita? Estrelita, what's going on, lady? Um, you know, look, you'll catch it on the replay. Guys, um, interesting morning. I just posted a video, but it's not. I was going to post it up before I hit this live button, and honestly, I don't know what I was thinking because I think I meant to have that go live, and I don't know. But I'll put it up before, like, right before we get up out of here. If you guys want to roll right into it, that's what I'll do. Um, I had already hit live, and I was like, what did I just do? But I was gonna go live afterwards, but I was gonna play the video first. But it's okay. I did a reaction to Olivia's Karen rant last night. And I know there's some sensitivity to the topic of Karen, but you know what? I am not necessarily the person. I am not a civil rights leader. I've got my own walk. I am a black woman, and at the end of the day, Karen, this Karen culture that we have identified, that has been outed, that has been identified, period. That we have put a name to it. It was something that was out there. We knew it existed. They didn't have a name to it. So if Karen bothers some people, what do we call it? We call it like false reports. We call it, criminal activity, because filing police reports are varying different degrees of crimes, right? Um, I'm not sure who put the tag Karen on it, who created that name, who said, "Well, let's pick Karen instead of Shelley um or Mary Margaret or Maria or Allison or Allie or Jen or any name, because names are just names, okay? There are cultural names, but names break stereotypical cultural backgrounds. I mean, we're such a diverse population. There are people who are offended by Karen talk, but I'm offended by Karen behavior, okay? And what we saw last night was a whole Karen on the YouTube streets who actually called the police 9 times on her boyfriend in January. Okay? Had you heard about that? Did it did anyone tell you that there was a Karen in the midst? Girl, if you're not a certified bugaboo, at least, is it okay for me to say bugaboo? Pamela, Kimberly, Amira, Estrelita, Sheila. I mean, would I have liked for them to have said, girl, it's that Francois behavior. It's that Ashley. I mean, Keisha been getting it for a minute. Okay? I know plenty of Keishas. Okay? All right? Latashla, how are you, dear? How are you, Shay? Felicia got the business for a minute, didn't she? Amber, Nicole, Coco, Brittany. When your name means something, John. You think Johns are happy that that's a name that's synonymous with going and buying puss? Okay, in the first 10 minutes, I'm so sorry. Buying some box. that you purchase box, John. Okay. It's funny how we can make a name mean something, right? But Karen, I didn't know Karen was only white women. I know that there had to have been a white woman who maybe she was the most egregious. So they said, you know what, we're going to put a name to it and we're going to just call it Karen. But I'm sorry, I'm not the person who's going to debate racial issues. I'm just going to call it like I see it and I'm going to call it when I experience it because I worked in corporate America for 25 years. And let me tell you, I've had some Karens in my life. Okay. Um, I've had some Karens try to set me up for the okey doke. And I've had to sit and watch some Karens pack up their belongings because they were fucking with me the long way. And I just made sure I kept all my documentation, like, especially if you work in HR should. I mean, if you don't know to keep your documentation, um, if you're in HR, you're slipping. If you don't know how to protect yourself, okay, from the okey doke, is what I used to call it, which is just kind of the go along, like Kwame Brown likes to say, the go along to get along gang. When you just want to work, you just want to keep your job, you just kind of turn a blind eye at the fuck shit that's going on in the office, but steadily there's always somebody who's sizing you up, is mad because you're fabulous or don't give a fuck, or you just bought a new car, you just bought a new house, or your hair stays done. Somebody's always mad. Someone can't understand how you are sitting next to them, probably making more than they do. They just get so pissed off. Their life didn't turn out the way that they wanted it to be. They didn't bother to finish high school, okay? But can't figure out what the fuck is the problem when you're always trying to pull people's damn strings, okay? So last night I was on the YouTube streets with you guys. I was watching someone trying to trick you out your position. Girl, it happened to me once or twice, but girl, bye no. Not me, Mrs. Wright. No. Mm-mm. Um, and that's one of my favorite expressions. Shouts out to Toya. Shouts out to Toya Talk. Um, Let me tell you, Olivia, she has really stepped into something that, girl, it's not going to get you very far. It's not going to get you on the most liked list. Um, it might get you where you want to go, where you think you want to go, but the cost is going to be very high. It's called integrity. It's called I don't know. It's called selling out. It's called a lot of different things. But what you're doing out here, putting out false reports of kidnapping, and because you're too immature to deal with the situation that you created, and trying to spread a message somewhere where it really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, yeah, YouTube streets doesn't matter in your marriage and with your children. Um, it's the court of, is it Tarrant County or wherever Dallas is, whatever county Dallas sits in, yeah, that's the court that where it really, really is going to go down, and it makes a difference because nobody cares on the YouTube streets, really. Okay, you've created a situation where you want to be popular in places that it really doesn't matter. Yeah, it can ruin your life, but honestly, I don't know that YouTube has made your life much better, other than it's given you a paycheck that you otherwise would never have gotten, having little to no education that will get you a job above and beyond the job searches that you've told us about, which is that you used to work in grocery store, which shouts out to all of our wonderful service workers, um, because you pulled us all the way through many different things, including what we all just went through, Corona, people getting up, going out when it was absolutely a nightmare to do so. So we certainly appreciate all of the people who work in the service and retail industry that showed up and showed out, for those of us who had to stay at home with children and underlying medical conditions and all of that. But Olivia, you have no education. You would not be making the money that you're making to be able to support yourself if it were not for the sheer naivety and people just wanting to buy a nightmare fairy tale that you sell in the form of emasculating a whole entire black man, manipulating small kids, barely taking care of them. From what I understand last night, serving bagels for dinner and watching your favorite reactors of Yanni and Fran. I thought that was just kind of like, "Oh shit, really? Wow. Okay. My goodness. How did I know? How did I know? Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, I figured. Girl, I've told you many times, you are on the ban list. You're not even supposed to be watching me, lady. What I'm telling you is this: my reactions are not for you, they are about you. You are the last person that I would think want to hear me discuss the last episode of what you drop on your channel. Because, honey, let me tell you, it's never typically a love letter. You got too much going on over there and too much that's wrong that I just can't possibly not call out. There's no way that I'm going to tell any of these women who show up to my chat, much less any of the men, that what you are doing is anything right. Up to and including when you used to have the Mr. and Mrs. over your bed, knowing good and well that you guys were not a Mr. nor a Mrs. Okay? You guys were not married, but you were playing it for TV. And when we kind of got the first glimpse of how it was set up that you would lie the most to create a story that people wanted to buy into to make you money. Like you said, that you wanted to create this channel so that maybe you could make money and escape from your life one day. Escape is the word that you used. Yes, it was escape, as in run free, as in not be a bad bitch and just walk out the damn door. Okay. Escape like a thief in the night, like you did um, one day in February of 2021 when you left Dallas, Texas without letting your husband know where you had gained residency. Does anyone know how long it takes to get residency in the state of Texas? Is it 60 days, 45 days? I don't think it's 6 months. Um, but when you left Texas and came back to Texas and registered your kids in school, whether you think you were there on time, in enough time or not, you claimed some sort of residency by putting your kids into a public school, getting mail, and maybe you even voted. I don't know. Did you? Did you vote there? I don't think so. Maybe did you? Look, okay. Anywho, um, so I did do a video kind of reacting. So I guess you can tell kind of like what the flavor is going to be on that. I was not impressed. Hey, Tasha. Hey, T. Lee. What's going on? Hey, Miss Chin. Mary Blue. What's going on? Renee XOXO. Joyce Smith. What's going on? Gigi Johnson. Yes. SB. 30 days. So, Olivia, you were a Texas resident, my dear, and you left. But your husband had paperwork stating that he was able to pick his kids up for visitation, and you were blowing a whistle, potentially putting your own children that you say you care about, Nia E. Can you believe this? Danielle Sykes? She blew a dog whistle, maybe hoping that he would stop at a gas station or something and a loyalty gang member would see him and maybe even call the police. Do you imagine? Someone driving through Mississippi at night or Louisiana, Alabama, and questioning their paperwork. That's been happening to us for a very long time. Olivia, as a woman who's got a black father, I don't know what you're calling yourself today, what you're going to call yourself tomorrow, who you even think or know that you are. But at the end of the day, yeah, you don't do that to people. You don't have people on the road traveling interstate, sit down like you're at a damn press conference, like you are some royal ass bitch, and tell people that a man with paperwork for his children who belong to him like they belong to you, and you make up some sort of crazy ass narrative that he stole your children, you illiterate ass buffoon. I don't know what you think you're doing, but don't you know we reside in cancel culture? Girl, you could be canceled like this minute. Don't you understand there's cancel culture? What are you doing? If you want your kids back, this is not the way to get them. You try to drum up support, not alienate your supporters. The people who have been there for you. Are you kidding me? You got a whole pothead at your house who was trying to spin another narrative today, guys. I don't know if you caught it on the bake, as in like wake and bake. Okay. Any of you pot smokers out there? Wakey bakey? That means that's like when you wake up and you smoke a blunt. Okay? He talked about this morning um that he has been in Atlanta. Y'all, the gaslighting is in effect. Okay? He's been in Atlanta, guys. Oh, really? You've been in Atlanta? Okay. Wasn't Olivia in her car like on Saturday or Sunday? And then you took the car to go get it washed? Is that when you were leaving out of town to have been in Atlanta? But weren't you walking with trash bags the week before? Weren't you at the drug rehab transition house? How have you been in Atlanta, but you're getting ready to go to work when you changing trash can liners over there at the stadium and working with them people, your whole crew of people that you was getting high with outside the stadium, calling shotgun for your ride, hanging outside your best friend's ride, trying to holler at some loyalty gang like only a scrub would. Okay, a 30-year-old man with no vehicle, with his room key. Okay, Tasha? Yes. What the hell? So you've been in Atlanta. Okay, how'd you get there? Oh, you're Olivia. Gerard, did you know that Olivia let a whole man with the car that you purchased that has your name on the note, drive your car to Atlanta? Atlanta? The A? Is that where he's at? That's where he said he was at today. He was sitting in the car with his little scrubby ass friend that he was that called shotgun a couple of days ago in a video on the streets. Oh, but he came to Atlanta with you? Because that little patio set he was sitting in today look an awful lot like the one at Olivia's house. I'm thinking to myself, Zolo, are you dumb or you think we're dumb? Because honestly, the worst thing that you could possibly do is think that the people that you're dealing with are dumb, because that's like breaking almost rule number 1. You can't do that. You can't underestimate your opponent. And when you start trying to gaslight and lie to people, yeah, you've created a definite line in the sand that you've got an opponent. Because someone who's going to lie to me, yeah, you're no friend of mine. Lie and gaslight and all that kind of stuff, that shit is whack. You're playing with people's emotions and mind. Olivia, people tune into your channel because once upon a time, they liked you. Once upon a time, people were interested in what you had to say and what you were doing. But somewhere along the way, your life wasn't good enough for you. So you started creating one that was far worse and led us into what was really going on, which was deep self-loathing, someone who had a man that was head over heels in love and wanted to do anything for her, but realized that he wasn't good enough for you. That no matter what he did and how much he did and how much he loved you and gave you what you wanted, it would never be good enough because you never loved him. And if you did love him, the love was over at that point. I remember seeing you in Niecy's bedroom after you guys went and got those atrocious lashes. Niecy's lashes look good, but girl, you got them big, thick lashes, okay? And Niecy was giving us some OG wife lessons, okay? And I just was like, I love her. Yeah, but you saw that people were like, "Oh my god, who is that? Oh my god, does she have a channel? Oh my god, we wanna talk to her." Because you see when Niecy shows up, any of you guys who just met Niecy yesterday, you already see what the magic is. She's got a lot of charisma, and she knows how to tell a story. And, she was telling us giving us some wife lessons, right? She was telling us about life and being a wife. And she was trying to give Olivia some encouragement on what happens in relationships and in a marriage, right? Right, BG? Um, it was in the midst of Olivia going in on Life of Kiera, whose husband, I think, Life of Kiera had got up and moved to Virginia, right? Am I getting this right? She left her husband, she moved to Virginia. They were army people or military people. And Niecy was like, "Yeah, you don't get up and leave your husband, girl." Because I think what happened was there was something on the ring, if I remember correctly. You know those ring devices that we have on our doors, and someone walks up and you can see. Well, Life of Kiera found some video in the ring, okay, and some woman was coming. She was very comfortable with her husband, okay, at her house while Kiera had moved to Virginia, okay. Um, and Olivia had lots to say on the topic. Niecy, like any good sister-in-law, was standing up for her sister-in-law and was giving some words of wisdom and, what happens when you get tricked out of your position, Miss Wright, okay? And like, basically giving the don't get tricked out of your spot speech, right? Um, Olivia obviously was not listening. Not listening at all. Because guess what happened? Guess who got tricked out their spot? Guess who wanted to go live with their mama? Just like Life with Kiera, be closer to her family. Olivia. This was 2 years ago. She wanted to. They were actually supposed to get married. Remember, they went and got their marriage license, and I think they were supposed to get married. Was it Memorial Day weekend? They were supposed to get married at some point, right? Um, but they didn't get married. She decided she was leaving and going to Florida. Okay. So they were going to get married in Dallas. She decided to leave. She went to Florida. Let's not be mad at Miss Nubu, who we know is Miss Antonisha. This is a long story, and this is a long and drawn out, complicated set of relationships here. Okay? There's no winners. Maybe there'll be some winners. Let me take that back. There's going to be some winners, but there's definitely going to be some losers or a loser. It all depends on how you look at it. But at the end of the day, this is a very complicated situation, and a lot of people sold out what they knew they should have done and just did what they maybe thought was the right thing to do at the time. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself some grace. We don't all get it right and we're not all perfect. And I can certainly understand realizing, I fucked up, but I thought it was the right thing to do. Or I thought that was what I needed to do. Or I thought if I worked harder at something, maybe I could make it work. But no, relationships, you hear people say relationships and marriages are work, but at the end of the day, they're work because we have to step out of ourselves to do for others. And we sometimes have to put ourselves on a back burner, but putting ourselves on the back burner actually amplifies. I talk about that all the time. But in any case, um, You don't put yourself on a back burner to be a doormat. That is not marriage, okay? That's not marriage. That is absolutely not marriage. You put others ahead of you because it's a ministry and it amplifies the love that you have for your family. It's like a healthy sacrifice. It's not an unhealthy doormat kind of drudgery of horrible relationship. Yeah, that's not what true love and a true marriage is. That's not what it is at all. Okay. So when you think that you hear people say, well, marriage is work, it's work because you want to always it's a conscious effort until it becomes unconscious where you just are made like that. But in very quickly you do find that you start to do for the better of your husband or you do for the better of your kid, or I better not do this because that could have an effect on my child's schedule. Like I'm not going to accept that job. I'll never be able to get there. You know what I mean? Things like that. You follow me? Anyway, um Olivia is very selfish. And I think being in a long-term relationship with someone where she started playing house and very early and started playing Married for TV, I think she realized that this was not it wasn't in her. Okay? Clearly, it was not in her. All right? Um, but she never wants to own it. I mean, damn it, bitch, you a boss, just own it. I don't want to be married. I want my freedom. I mean, you've said it many times. I just haven't heard it recently, but that would used to be the dialogue. He's not sexy. I don't love him. I just want better. I want more. Nisi talked about that yesterday, and that's all very true. A lot of us heard it and saw it. But there's this whole narrative around him being a bad guy. Hey, C Talk. Hey, Miss OKC. 10 kids and counting. Welcome everyone, even in the bushes. Look, at the end of the day, I'm just gonna tell you the real about what it's, how I see it as a woman. Um, I just, you know, these mommies have to understand. We talk about your channels because you guys have real shit going on that's happening to some of us, that has happened to some of us, that some things that we all go through. It's not really just to talk about you. Like, let's not get it twisted. Okay. Are you kidding me? If I'm going to really sit and talk about someone fabulous, yeah, it's not going to be you, Olivia. It's going to be a real bad bitch. It's not gonna be some chick who is like, trying so hard to not be a doormat. Who has to try hard to not be a doormat? My God. Just don't be a doormat. Are you kidding me? It's really incredible how this woman has spun this story and that there are people who are actually buying this narrative and think that this shit is cute and that it's actually real, who have watched her channel for years. This is absolutely nuts to me. Um, so I see a lot of you mentioning the GoFundMe. I saw the GoFundMe and the video that I've got coming up is going to address that. It's wrong on many, many, many accounts. It's just absolutely wrong. Um, I don't even know where to start other than bitch you lying. That's number one. You a whole lie wrapped in a riddle and buried in a pile of shit. Okay. Um, Nobody's here for it. And I think one thing that really does bother me um is when people try to gaslight and use low key racism to push agendas. And she's taking a page right out of the disinformation alternative facts book by sitting there with a fucking bun on her head, crying and looking like some sort of innocent housewife who has been abused when bitch you showed up time and time again and had baby after baby after baby and dealt with a guy very recently who you had to call the police on 9 times. Tell me why after the first if I have to call the police on you, yeah, we're not we're done. But you called the police 9 times? Yeah, that came out, I think, based on look, the way it was said, it was just said, right? When we listened to Gerard, we listened to Niecy. But what it sounds like is that that private investigator got information about police calls to your home, and there were 9, okay? Which I'm sure those are public information. Why would it take 9 times? Why would it take I'm sure you're grateful, and I know that Gerard is. Why would it take 3 children for you to figure out someone that you don't love, didn't love, still don't love, that you don't want, but you wanna play the most games with? Like, why do you have to play games with people? I.e., play games with your audience. Loyalty gang gang, which they're so weird, guys. They're so obsessed. I'm telling you, my thing is this, if you're a member somewhere and you're not getting what you pay for, make a decision. Don't be a victim. Don't be a victim that's sitting there holding account. You know what I'm saying? When you see shit ain't going right, you cut and run. Why would you need to sit to continue to verify something that you already know? That's just called stupid. And that's called a waste of time. And anyone out there who has had loved ones leave for whatever reason, because they went home to be with the Lord or someone walked out of your life, you know how precious relationships are and can be. And the last thing that you ever want to do is waste some damn time. Who does that? That's just dumb. Children who don't know any better because they don't have the perspective of time that we all do as adults. When we realize how precious it is when we start doing things like working and stuff like that, and have very little of it to ourselves and to go do things like have fun, right? But Olivia decided to put up a GoFundMe, okay? Go fraud me, right? Um, Girl, have you weighed in on your weight loss challenge? Can you tell me that? Did you ever give Zolo his $80? Because we know he was hungry for his money, okay? And there's one thing is I know you two are serious about y'all's money over there at that house, right? Um, but now you're collecting money for a attorney's fund. I remember Strong Mommy Chrissy. Chrissy, I'm sorry to put you in this, but I remember Chrissy had a legal defense fund. Um, and we know how that look, I'm not trying to be funny here, but at the end of the day, we know how that turned out. She never got one. So on holidays and summers, she boards flights. She talked about anxiety the other day. She has to board flights to go pick up a child that she did not bring an attorney to the court proceedings for. She said she never thought in a million years that what would happen happened. So if I were someone who just like, wow, I talked the most shit about these people, and it seems like their lives are happening to me. If I saw some kind of uncanny, freakish shit happening, I would start to be like, okay, well, let me do the opposite of what they did because maybe I'll have a better outcome. But no, I think I'll just follow the same blueprint and just let the shit unfold and just go ahead and just fuck the whole thing up, right? Let me just go ahead and let me just go ahead and follow the plan. Let me just keep doing what I'm doing. And now you've got this GoFundMe where you think you want to not earn, excuse me, you want to collect $5,000 for an attorney. Girl, you're going to need a lot more than that. Because, once papers are filed and certified, now you've got to get reason to reverse them. When you should have had a lawyer before, I guess, I don't know if dual custody is automatically established, but if when you were initially in court, you had reason to fight for majority custody, why didn't you do that? But it's been filed and set now that he's got his custody. He could actually have them every other week. And if he really wanted to be a jerk, he could try to get that enforced. And how you think you're going to get 3 kids every other week to Texas, which should be incumbent on you because your ass decided to move them, girl, you better get all them YouTube channels you got popping. You better stop smoking and drinking and start busting these videos out and hope that you can recoup any little bit of your channel. Because my God, girl, you're going to need a lot of money. And I'm sure he's paid a pretty penny, or he may have lucked up on a really good lawyer that maybe wasn't very expensive, or whatever he's paying. Clearly he wants his children, or he wants his rights. He wants whatever is allotted to him. But you sat on your butt while you were busy with Brandon getting piped, busy with Zolo getting piped, busy with yourself and your hair, busy with yourself and your lips, busy with yourself and your mirror, busy with yourself and your makeup, busy with yourself and twerking, busy with yourself and busy with yourself. Get papers created setting a custody agreement that now you have to comply with. And you're going to have to show cause. Well, probably initially you would have too, but maybe you would have stood more. Now you've got to show a reason why. And girl, let me tell you, you could scrub your whole channel and it would never be clean, because guess what? You have no rights to my commentary. You have no rights to anyone else out here on these YouTube streets. Girl, the word on the street is out on you. You could never scrub this shit clean. Hey, Yanni. Hi, S. Hawthorne. Yanni, did you hear? Her favorite reactors are Fran and Yanni. You sitting there watching Fran and Yanni all day. Shouts out to Nisi if you're listening. I had no idea she was sitting and watching Fran and Yanni all day. You would think that when you were in backstage yesterday, she would have been quick to answer the call, considering she loved Fran and Yanni so much. I had no idea. Girl. I would think you would have got something by now, girl, because I mean, damn. That doesn't make me feel very good as having you as a student, because my dear, you should have picked up something by now. You should be on your way. I mean, last night girl, for someone who watches my channel and Yanni's channel and any of these other channels out here, girl, I would have thought you could have picked up some reading skills, because girl, after last night, I'm going to need for you to stop trying to read folk, okay? Don't do that. Number 1, you're not funny. Number 2, you have to have a little bit of like smarts. You have to know your subject and you have to know your audience. And apparently last night the people weren't really with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got read so bad. I know you probably fell asleep dreaming that you were out to lunch with Nisi or something. Like, Nisi got up in there. Okay. If I were you, I would not try to read Nisi or anyone else who has read the fuck out of you again. Hang that shit up. It's not meant for everybody. You cannot read. Okay. Period. So don't do it. You looked stupid. Maybe to your crowd last night, they were like, girl. But yeah, no. It wasn't fun, girl. It was sad. It was almost like, oh God, really? Yeah, girl, bye. It was bad. It was bad, bad. Okay, it was very bad. Um, I just was really disappointed. And if I were Zolo, I would, girl, look, let me tell you something. I keep saying it. He's not into you. There's no way. You are a easy lay. You got a whole empty apartment and you are lonely and thirsty as fuck. And at the end of the day, this guy's living in a fucking transitional housing. Okay. He can get his rocks off. You hit him up to the YouTube game. He was on his Grizzy this morning, even though he was getting high on your porch. He was up doing a YouTube video at 8 o'clock. Homie is an opportunist. Someone said to him in his chat, "Oh, you should open a video editing business." He said, "Well, I got one. It costs $275. I edit videos, but I can't get anyone to want to pay." Which told me, sir, you don't have a business. You don't have a business. Because no business person would ever say some stupid shit like that. But I admire the hustle. Okay? What you say is, yeah, I edit videos. And if you know anyone who needs my help, send them my way. Okay? Period. All right? Because we know you sell bunnies, sir. And we know you were certified on these streets. We know you rap. I don't know if you work for the temp agency or what. We saw you working at the stadium, doing the most, smoking your vape, getting your work done, having a good time. Okay? Look, where were you? He said he was in Atlanta. Okay? I don't believe that at all. He's probably clapping your cakes right now. But you guys think there's something about spinning a narrative that he's as far away from you as he possibly can be. I don't believe it. The guy barely had 25 cents. He needed every single cash app to get across town to a vacant hotel, okay, carrying trash bags. But he's in Atlanta? Are you kidding me? Even cheap food's expensive in Atlanta, okay? Are you kidding? The fuck? I live in Charlotte. You couldn't come here either. All right? You better stay right where you at in the armpit of Florida, right there next to your boo. Okay? And let her continue to teach you that game, Zolo. And you get it until you get your YouTube check. Go get your P.O. box so you can get your YouTube number and get yourself on that YPP. Okay? So you can bust the hell up out of there because she is going to suck you dry and you are going to be paying her child support, okay? Because she's reliving out some sick past that she has with a version of her father and really a version of herself. Um don't let don't be her therapy. Be your own therapy and get the fuck up out of there, okay? If you know what's good for you, make this your last blunt and last screw and get the hell up out of there before you are paying for a baby for the next 18 years and have another baby mama you don't like. Because I don't think you like her at all. She's a big, pretty, freaky girl who gives up free puss and a comfortable bed, and maybe they got a good shower over there or something, and a refrigerator, I'm sure, full of food. Okay? What opportunistic man is not going to take advantage of that? Okay? So I don't blame you. I'm certainly not knocking your hustle. STL, I mean, look, right? 29, felony, short on cash, big ol' ass, ready to fuck, scramble up some eggs, smoke and drink. Sounds like a party, right? But all the way, in the back of your head, you're going to be out. This is the chick that took the bunnies back to the pet store the second time when he took off. She packed up the bunnies and dropped them off at the pet store. This bitch is mean. Okay? She's mean. Men don't like mean women, right, STL? Guys, if you don't know STL, STL is one of the YouTube Streets homies. He is out here and he does his programs typically in the evenings. He's a good guy out here. And he tells it like it is. And Zolo Bands, I re-listened to the day that he left her house with the trash bags and was telling us the most about the yeast infection. And I just don't like being with a dirty woman, and she won't bathe, and she's lazy, and she's this and she's that, and she's all of those things. I was thinking to myself, he doesn't even like you. I don't think he likes you. I think he's realizing he don't fuck with you almost. But you got some tricks. Maybe you doing the stuff you did to Brandon, got Brandon all caught up when you was girl tossing his salad and shopping for groceries in his butt. Girl, whatever you were doing. I'm sorry if the kids are listening because this is certainly not for them. Um but if you're old enough, maybe you are. If you're about 17 years old, maybe you need to listen because don't get caught up in this. It's an evil world out here, and there are people out here who want to take advantage of you. And never be a woman to take less than young dolls out here. Don't do that. Don't grow up to be like Olivia. I'm sorry. She's not her best self at this moment. She's not doing right by herself. I would say I think your mom should have taught you better, but yeah, I don't even know that. So, girl, we're going to fall on these YouTube streets. There's a lot of women out here telling you that you could do better because we can't rely on Stella right now because Stella's giving you the most bad information. This is crazy. This is one of the craziest families I've ever seen. Olivia thinks Olivia is falling back on some white privilege that she thinks she has, but girl, you really don't. Because show up to that court, you're just as black as everybody else, okay? At the end of the day, you got people who want to convince you're biracial. I'm so sorry. And maybe to the biracial people out here, maybe I am dead wrong, okay? Dead wrong. But at the end of the day, people don't know who you are or what you are. They see you. Until they talk to you, that's when they learn about you. Okay? To the world, you present as a black woman. You've got chocolate children. You love black men. No matter how much you go to sleep and wake up in the morning, you will never be Kim Kardashian. You will never be Chloe. You will never be Kylie. Okay, you're never going to be them. Okay? And because they are who they are, yeah, we already know who Chicago is. We know who Nori is. We know those kids. Okay? Because they are mega rich, their daddies are billionaires and millionaires. Yeah, they transcend something, okay? But at the end of the day, what I'm going to tell you is this. People see you a certain way, and we see you acting a certain way here on these YouTube streets, and it's not going to do you any type of favors. I was so disgusted, guys. I was so disgusted last night. If it were not for Nisi bringing a little bit of comic relief through to lighten the air, at least for us, I know it got pretty intense for her. Um, it would have been a very depressing evening because to see a woman sit there and accuse a man who you laid down with and made 3 children of stealing children while he is in travel back to a safe place, I thought was absolutely that you are probably one of the most evil people And I could not believe what you were unleashing potentially out on your children. And to pretend like you don't know that black men don't get killed on sides of roads more than anybody else. You didn't know that? Tell me you did not know that. Tell me that nobody knew that. That if you're a black man and maybe even a black woman, you might have more of a chance of getting beaten by a police officer on the side of a road. A black man, yeah, you fight with a police officer, you'll be dead. Period. You won't get home. Okay? Um that will happen. It's more likely to happen to someone with melanated skin than it will not. And if this is not for you, this is not for you. If this makes you feel a way, I understand, but understand it makes us feel a way. And Olivia, I hope that you never have to experience these things, okay? But you have black children and they may. And if you raise them to not understand who they are and just to have an awareness, because we don't have the privilege to walk around like everything is absolutely okay. You know why I'm fancy? Because my mother always taught me to go out and look a certain way so people weren't going to follow me around a store, cuz I'm not stealing. But you want to make sure that when you go places, people don't even have a question whether you belong, because you're going to walk in like you own the damn place, okay? So no, I've never felt a way when I go in places because I carry myself a certain type of way. But I do that because I know that because of my skin color, I am judged. And if you don't believe that in 2021 or think that you surpassed that because your mother is white, well, congratulations. Aren't you lucky? That's why you get to sit there and make up fairy tale nightmares about your husband and pretend like you're mad that he's with another woman, but you all but bought him a bus ticket to get the fuck up out your house. Like, Olivia, which one is it? You're hot, you're cold, you're this, you're that. You are a piece of work. You will never be happy. One thing I could say to all of you ladies out here is, the way to have a successful relationship, men are pretty simple. And at the end of the day, if you have a man in your life that loves you, he just wants to make you happy. But if you don't know what the hell you want, trust and believe it is hard for a man to be the captain of your heart and the leader and take charge of the relationship where you can trust him with your heart because you don't know what the fuck you want. Okay? And I'm sorry to talk like this to some of you who may have a sensitivity to cursing, but at the end of the day, if you want to know why you don't get what you want and you want to know why things don't work out, is because you probably are not honest with your word. It's this way one day and it's this way the next day. And it sometimes it's not even bipolar. It's just I don't know what I want. I'm immature. I'm lazy. I don't want to work. And I don't mean work as in a job, just working as in be be a supportive partner. Right, STL? Yeah. That's the work that people talk about in relationships. It's not all about being a crazy bitch. It's just about being a bitch. Men don't like mean women. Men don't typically wife up mean. If you're a little sassy, that's another thing, because that gets them a little excited. A bitch? Yeah, no. That's slow walking getting home every day. That's I gotta work till 8:30. Okay. That's my check was short, or remember this one was Strong Mommy Chrissy? I'm going to a funeral and I'll be back in like 3 weeks. And then you come back to pick up the rest of your shit and like, oh hey, by the way, I'm leaving and going back to Texas. Well, when are you coming back? Yeah, I'm not. I'm not. Chrissy said she was mean to him. Chrissy low key didn't want him there anyway, right? But she didn't really know what she wanted, but her actions were not lining up with her speak, right? You know when your mouth doesn't line up with your walk and your talk don't match, right? So her walk and her talk didn't match. Her walk said one thing that sent her man out the door, but when he left, she was really sad, right? And I believed her tears. But at the end of the day, she says she was happy and she knew he was not the one for her. It didn't hurt any less. But when your thoughts and your talk and your actions don't match up, you are in a world of turmoil, okay? And Olivia is someone who I can imagine is indulging in alcohol and all of the party things that she does, because it's very difficult to live and be out of alignment. And when Chrissy talked the other day about having anxiety, oftentimes it's because our thoughts aren't matching up, right, with how we feel. We feel one way, but we find that we're doing other things, right? There's some you're out of, you're not aligned. Um and I'm not going to deep dive in that right now, but girl, you know what I'm saying? When you start talking about you having anxiety, but you girl, you got about the easiest job. You got a whole man that got a smile on his face all the time. You seem to have very nice children. I mean, Chrissy seems to run a tight ship over there. Her kids always look happy. I hear them saying yes, ma'am, and things like that, which is always a good sign that they even know ma'am. Okay. Um, you hear that here. Okay. Some people don't like ma'am, but I love it. Okay. Um, you're having anxiety attacks? Girl, what's wrong? What's tea? What's really the tea? Okay. With these weird videos talking about people think I'm engaged and all that silly stuff that's going on over there. Um, but back to Olivia. Olivia, we're not done with you yet, girl. Um, I don't know. It's very, very strange, guys. Very, very strange. I will drop the line if any of you guys want to give some live comments. You are more than welcome to. You know me. I could probably talk for 2 hours. Um, but guys, if any of you who don't know me and the ones of you that do, I'm very passionate about relationships. I am very passionate about marriage. I think that marriage is a wonderful thing. I had my one and only baby at 40 years old. Okay. My husband and I got married in 2014 and I was 43. Okay. So things didn't happen for me early. Okay. And I'm grateful that I waited because at the end of the day, I got to live a lot and I got to learn a lot and I got to understand what it was that I was really looking for in life. And I know some people start early and that's cool. Um, and they bring a whole different set of wisdom. I have one good girlfriend. She got married when she was 21. And she's a year older than me. So she's been married, do the math. She's been married 30 years now. Okay. I can't, me personally, I cannot believe I have a friend who's been married 30 years because most of my friends had kids in their late 30s, early 40s. And but this one friend of mine got married at 21 years old and she's always got like a good word for me because she's been through many different levels and phases of marriage and it's always really cool to hear from women um about relationships who are happy and who have found the keys to success to make it work and be a wonderful journey that you don't have to sit there and act like it's like some hard ass job because it's really not. Having a wonderful husband is a blessing and I'm sure that they would say the same thing. And all I ever saw from living with the Webbs was a guy who seemed like he was happy to come home, hand over his paycheck, and just wanted to eat some food with some seasoning on it. Okay. Come home to some kids that weren't dusty and come home to a wife that wasn't dusty and dirty. Okay. Which typically never happened. When he would come home, she had on the same pajamas. and the same bonnet and came home to unseasoned food. Okay? Am I lying? I've been brainwashed about my mom and dad from both parents to the point that I don't mess with either one because they were fighting. They had a bad relationship. I'm so sorry about that. I mean that's tough. I hate that. I was the complete and total opposite. My Both of my parents have gone to be with the Lord, but my parents spent their absolute last breaths together. And they were married over 50 years. And my father blushed almost every single time he would look at my mom. He loved my mom. Now, can I give you inner details about my parents' marriage? No, I can't. They respected us enough that whatever they had that was private, and I really never knew we never knew anything other than that they were very happy, and when we would go to parties, they would dance and they would laugh and tell secrets to each other. You walk in, they stop talking, and my mom's giggling and stuff like that. That's what I've witnessed, and I always wanted that. Now, keep in mind, nothing's perfect. I have 2 sisters that unfortunately are divorced, and I'm sure they would have wanted something different, but I'm, I I've been lucky with my relationship, so I hope that they can get married again. I have another sister who's in a wonderful marriage. Um, but yeah, I didn't have to go through that, but I do know even adults who have had parents split up after like 30 years, and it's tough for the kids who are not kids, the kids who are grown. Okay, that's not easy. So divorce is not pretty for these little babies, these little guys that we're seeing, that we saw on Instagram. Olivia, you have beautiful kids. I know you know this. You didn't need me to tell you. Um, but that picture was so powerful because we were all waiting for it. And a lot of us were secretly aching because we know how important it is to have a daddy. And we knew how damaged your relationship was with yours. And there was a lot of sighs of relief when Gerard got to pick up his kids, even if it's just for a visit. I don't think anyone out here is wishing for you to lose your children. Um, Maybe. I don't, I'm assuming, I don't know. It's going to happen how it happens, and the court can make the best decision of what's best for these children. Um, but he does have 50-50 custody, and that's just something you're going to have to deal with because the way you deal with this is going to be how the judge is going to rule on you. And if you go in there all sassy McFrassy, um, you might get a very unsympathetic judge who is not cool with the shit that you've been doing and may take some time to sit and watch your YouTube channel. And if you put a lawyer on retainer, your lawyer might tell you, yeah, as of now, I'm putting you on notice. Don't delete shit from your channel because it's all discoverable. We have now entered into a court situation, and I'm telling you, your channel is now discovery, and I don't want you to delete anything. You can private what you want, but don't delete anything because it's going to look like a cover up. But like I said, you could spend till next week scrubbing your channel. Yeah, it ain't going to work. It's not going to work. You were, did I see Marissa Starr in here earlier? Marissa, I don't know if you're still in here. How are you? Nia E, I don't think I gave you a proper hello. Kitten Zombie, Yali RV, Who Did What, Brittany. It's, oh girl, yeah, checking the hemorrhoids, holding the gun up to his head. I mean, there's been a lot. There's been a lot. Um, I think Gerard, we all know this. He just got tired. He got tired of being tired. He got tired of just not being good enough. And not that he wasn't good enough. He got tired of not being good enough for her. He got tired of being her settle guy. I guess I'll settle for him. No guy wants to look, let me tell you something, ladies, too. There are more of us than them. Don't get it twisted. It's cute sometimes to have a guy chase you, but understand, even Zolo bands walking with 3 trash bags coming from Olivia's house with yeast infections and doesn't shower had numbers to call and people who actually picked up the phone and entertained conversations. There may have even been someone to open up their legs. We don't know. Why would she ever do that on camera? Liv is goofy and weird. Hoe tendencies. Like, let's just be real. A woman who gives fellatio on a public forum, that's nasty. It's slutty. It's whorish. And that's on period. Can we call something what it is? I mean, I know it's taboo to slut shame. I know it's taboo to call someone Karen. I know people feel away. I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. Like I said, Felicia probably has some feelings too. Becky has some feelings. John has feelings. Everybody's whose name turned into something, they all feel away. Okay, but at the end of the day, it's real. It's real. It's on ABC News. It's on Fox News even. Okay, at least Fox Soul. At the end of the day, Karen is a thing. Okay, Karen is a noun. It's a verb. It's a lot of, it's an adjective. It's lots of things. Liv is a nasty whore. The streets are talking. Okay. Guys, were you here for the crank calls last night into the Olivia Karen show last night? That shit was so funny. Okay. Olivia, you should take calls more often. I loved the couple that called in, the Latino guy, who was happy to have called in. Marsuita, did you see when the Latino guy called in and he was like, "Oh God, I can't believe I'm on the phone with Liv." And then he said, "Babe, what question do we want to ask?" Homegirl wasn't even trying to ask anything. And then she said, "Well, put your girl on the phone." And he says, "No, my girl is what do you say? A Santeria saint. She's a saint, basically, or saint something. Like basically, yeah, no, she's not getting on the phone with you." Okay, what'd you think about that?
Hi, good afternoon, Fran. Good afternoon, chat.
Hey,
You mean to?
Marsuita.
Hi, hi. Uh, well, as you can hear, I'm obviously not an American. I'm from Barbados. I'm a little older than you are, Fran. And b- I didn't call specifically to speak to the guy that called in,
Mm-hmm.
but what surprised me about it was the fact that he called in and then he was so seemingly excited that he actually got to speak to her.
Mm-hmm.
But he then admonished her and he said to her, "You should stop beefing with persons. Just if you have an issue with someone, pick up the phone and call the person."
Yes. Yes.
And then she indicated that she called the person out, but they're too scared. But what Liv did, which was obvious to me, when Nisi did call in and started to speak, she either muted her and then she deleted her along with the other person who she called. I forgot the name, that the person that was cussing her out. But what I wanted to say specifically
Mm-hmm.
about Liz, and I'm going to be brief, Liv strikes me as Jim Jones. I don't know if you're familiar with him, the guy that caused so many people to take a poison and killed himself. He was, I
He
think
was
it
a
was a
cult
mass
leader.
suicide. Exactly.
He passed
Li-
himself on as kind of like an evangelist, um, and got a lot of people to go down to British Guiana once upon a
exactly.
time, and it didn't end well for a lot of people and
Exactly.
their families. unfortunately. But yeah, she is leading sort of a cult of personality.
Exactly. She has a way of getting persons to bend to her will. I saw her do it with Gerard,
Hmm.
with Maurice, not Maurice, Brandon, and to a lesser extent with Zolo bands.
Hmm.
But what I found particularly amusing is that as smart as Liv thinks she is, she's just as dumb. You received hundreds and hundreds of dollars yesterday from persons stating that you needed to save your children because they were allegedly kidnapped. And the very next day, you go to the nail salon and get your nails done with dollar bills on your nails. You are telling the persons that contributed, that felt sorry for you, that may be related to the issue that you are allegedly going through. Well, I don't care about you. I want what I want, and I don't care about you. Liv, unfortunately, the way how she's going, and she is a classic example of a psychiatrist's nightmare. Liv is not going to prosper well in this world because she is wicked, she is evil, she is manipulative, she is diabolical, and there's so many other words that I can use that do not come to mind.
I
And
mean,
I am
you got some good ones though. I mean, those ones are probably like those are some pretty powerful words. So even just three of the ones that you mentioned, I think are sufficient. Diabolical is that's
she
up
is
there with like
diabolical.
Lex Luthor and
Yes,
Jim Jones. So you know what I'm saying? Like you don't need a whole lot when you use words like that. It's like gargantuan. You know what I mean? Like you don't
exactly.
have to say anything else after that. That's just big.
And
Um,
and
so
what I just I
interesting
just wanted to
perspective.
ask you, Fran, quick. I
Mhm.
asked Yanni B, but she said she wasn't sure. Is there any way that Gerard can get a gag order and stop her from using his name on social media because she continues to bash this guy? And what surprises me is that Zoloban said the most horrible things about you. He said the most nasty things that a man that would have slept with you could say to you, and you say nothing. You do not address it. You do not come out for him. But yet, at every turn, you are coming for Gerard because Olivia saw herself as better than Gerard. And I am telling you that she is scared of Zolo bands and whatever he has on her. And she basically she has met someone that she cannot intimidate. I think that is basically it with that situation. I know it may have
Well,
gone all around the world, but I just wanted to say so much and not take up too
I
much of the chat time.
so let me ask you this, Marsuita, though. Tell me this.
Yes,
What
please.
are you watching? Do you watch her?
Unfortunately, I watch her only
Okay.
when someone has not done a reaction because I don't want to give her the view. That's the truth. And
So
every
tell
time,
me what captivates you. Is it the train wreck? Is it the fascination of seeing this mind? Because honestly, I find her fascinating. And I think what infuriates her potentially, let's just say I'm going to just pick on myself, her particular disdain for me is that I think she feels like I come off like I'm better. And I said, you know what? I think I'm going to just say, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm not the type of person that thinks I'm better than anyone, but I'm going to just say I think I'm better in this situation because I don't gaslight. I don't mistreat people. I take good care of my husband. I'm not going to even talk about her parenting because I don't care. They're with their father. But at the end of the day, I think she feels that certain women are because she has a particular dialogue about people putting her down. Have you noticed that? It's always you're
yes,
talking down to me. You're doing
yes,
this like you could tell she's got a very low self-esteem because she's got a running dialogue of who is talking down and not treating her well. I don't give a I'm going to be honest. I mean, of course, who doesn't want to be treated well? But I don't pay particular attention because I always make sure that I'm treated well. Does that make sense?
oh
So
yes.
I don't rely on others to treat me well. I set the pace to be treated well. So I don't worry about other people and what they do. I set a tone that people are nice to me. I'm nice to them. I'm courteous. I have manners. So people don't treat you well when you don't possess those things. So I think
Exactly.
she has an odd concern of that I've noticed. And I think that she has a particular disdain for people that make her feel less than. And she
Exactly.
so and rightfully so, why not? But most people don't live in that. Most people see something happening and they try to do something because they want to be treated better, so they make changes. But this is a woman who never seems to course correct.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you live what you learn, and her behavior to me is learned behavior. And it, I think the example was set based on the comments that her mother placed in the chat, the erroneous comments regarding the Gerard kidnapping the children. And her mother, to me, her mother is reliving whatever happened with her with Olivia's father and trying to get back at Olivia's father through whatever is being done to Gerard.
Right.
All
This is one big trigger fest.
exactly, exactly. But why I watch her, right? I watch her more as a scientific study, and not only her, but also her followers as well. And
Hmm.
the persons that ride for her and believe anything that she shoves down their throat and take it as gospel. It is an interesting
It's
study. It's
incredible,
not
isn't
that
it?
exactly. It's not, and also, Fran, I'll tell you this, huh? People dislike things in you that they would like to have in themselves. If you think you are the best thing since sliced bread, that is something she would like. She would like the that's why she sought to pull down everything that you held dear. You respect your marriage, you respect your husband, you view your husband as the head of the household, and by extension, you are the queen. All of that she would like to have, but she does not know how to navigate the kind of waters that you swim in. So obviously, she's not going to like you, my dear. And even her not liking you does not detract from who and what you are. And another thing too, and you said it, I think you said it, and maybe Reese alluded to it as well. You have a sense of style. It may not be the style that everybody likes, but it is your own sense of style, your own identity. You know who you are. You walk in your own truth. Olivia flip flops, not even every day, within an hour. I saw her as this beaten person in one life, and then the next minute she was coming out for Nisi and she was saying all of these horrible things. And I'm just saying, wait, I thought your issue was your children. You are cussing people and being extremely disrespectful, and yet you want me to feel something for you. And I'm going to tell you this, and I make no apologies. I am Team Gerard, and if I could speak to
Hmm.
him and tell him what to do, I trust me, she would not have a YouTube channel because I think it was maybe Yanni B or maybe Sofa Time with Kels, her channel, she would be have a gag order placed on her that she could not even make money off of YouTube. She would have to go and find a job maybe at Starbucks or something.
Or
But
something where you can't use you can't
exactly.
use the children. Like we see this in a lot of look at Latoya Forever.
Oh
Latoya's
yes.
husband, Adam Ali, is not signing off on the children being on Real Housewives of Atlanta, even as her being kind of like a sidebar non-peach holder. Um,
Exactly.
he's like, yeah, no, you. I
Exactly.
mean, don't you make enough on YouTube? Like, just not so much he's in her pockets, but he doesn't want his kids used for Real
Exactly.
Housewives.
And then
So I
she,
don't blame him.
and then she speaks to her children being exploited by Gerard. Gerard placed that photo to say it was like a sigh of
The kids are
relief.
well. Yeah.
Exactly. But then you take it and you spin it because you cannot control him anymore. You've lost your control. He did everything the right way. And I'm glad if it is of his own doing, if he's being directed, I am glad. All I would caution Gerard and Nisi from this point forward, don't say much. Keep moving in
Right.
silence and let her guess what is happening because she did, in fact, hide those children when she thought he was coming earlier. But her tricks, there's a saying here in Barbados where your tricks turn to bricks.
Tricks turn to
She,
bricks.
yeah, your
I love
tricks,
it.
you tricked her to bricks. But Fran, I don't want to take up too much time because I'm sure there are others who
Well,
want
I
to.
enjoyed you, Marsweeta. It's nice
Thank
talking to
you.
you. Thank you for coming up from the chat. I mean, it was very nice talking to you, and I hope I will talk to you again.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for your perspective. I really appreciate it. And
All righty.
anytime.
Okay, great. Have a good evening, everyone.
Okay,
Bye
you
bye.
too. Okay,
Bye
thank
bye.
you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Guys, give Marsweeta like some hand claps in the chat and some Barbados flags. I mean, amazing perspective. And Marsweeta, thank you so much for the things that you had to say. I appreciate it. Um, I take those humbly. I really do. I mean, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Um, I love talking to you guys and I love talking relationship. And I would never want to be on this side of a conversation, honestly. But if you're out there and you want to have a conversation about me, you think you've gathered up enough evidence, you go right on ahead. I'm not stopping you. Certainly, I'm not stopping nobody from doing anything that they need or want to do. But at the end of the day, Olivia, you put a lot out there and you put a lot of complicated women's topics out there that are far too juicy for us not to talk about because at the end of the day, you, my dear, have turned yourself into somewhat of a case study. And it's fascinating to watch the way you move because you move like a snake and you gaslight, then you play baby girl. When Niecy said, yeah, this is why they like her because she got baby hairs. I mean, it was so right on. It was so right on because Olivia knows how to play the game to a certain degree, but there's some of us who she's just never going to turn. And it's interesting to see how she flips on a dime, and it was very insightful, Marsweeta, that she goes from victim to victor at the flip of a dime. One minute she's a winner, and the next minute she's some sort of a loser. It's really really interesting. Olivia Pope, what's good, girl?
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Nothing. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
I'm fine. My voice is a little shot
So tell
from
us
last
what is
week.
going on.
Girl, it was so interesting. Olivia Johnson. I cannot believe this eighth grade conversation. I'm trying to figure out why she hung up on me last night.
Olivia Pope, was that you? I
Shot.
noticed. So I did notice. Is that gelato as your avatar?
I think
Because I
so.
I feel like someone who was telling her off had like some ice cream or something in the mist as an avatar. And I'm thinking to myself that
Yeah.
that avatar looks very familiar.
Yeah, because that Drake would have never picked up had I, said something else. And she can't read because I forgot the first name I tried
Girl,
to
her
get
read
in.
is whack.
So, yeah, because I'm thinking, Trick, that's the name of a book. But had you graduated at least from eighth grade, she would have
My
known that.
God.
I mean, yeah. So it was pretty spicy, and I'm just trying to figure out why is she lying so much. And even when she thought I was Niecy, she hung up the phone. It's just like, why? I mean, you
I
are
feel like
so
she said a
freaking
couple of
bad.
times that the people hung up. So you, in
Girl, I was
fact,
still
you're
on there.
confirming you did
Yes.
not hang up. She hung up on you. Is that what you're
I
saying?
am I am confirming that she hung up on me twice. We can tell on
Mm.
this live, right? When I came in and told her exactly what she is, you nasty bitch.
Ooh.
So after I said a couple of things, she hangs up the line. So I called because I was even in the chat saying, "Hey, pick up the line. Why did you hang up?" And if she still has it up, bitch, it was me. Drop a line in my box and say something. Because I have
Mm.
flight miles. I wouldn't spend any money or anything like that. But I said what I meant. I said what
Mm.
I meant. She needs to leave me alone. She needs to leave the family alone. Because everybody don't fuck around like that. And I'm being real. Everybody doesn't play like that. And any hoe that can't stand a phone conversation definitely couldn't stand a fight.
You
So
know what I think this also ignited? I mean, a lot of us, all of us have gone like relationships, right? I mean, if you got kids, you've been involved in something, right?
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
uh, what I'm gonna say is this. I feel like sometimes she's igniting like the mama bear. She's igniting like the sister foot in your ass bear. She's igniting some different parts. Like all of
But
us
who
have dealt
though?
with relationships, but maybe she's reminding you of that girl that you didn't like that your brother had a baby with, or my God, that bitch that my son had a child with, or she's just igniting like some extra. You know what I'm saying? Like because Olivia is extra, we're not just seeing it from the eyes of her telling her story. I think a lot of us are feeling her story because she's so nasty with it.
And she's a nasty whore sucking homeless dick. I said that to her last night, but she didn't have anything. Now I mean, she said she wanted an interview. She wants to know
Oh
what
God.
people think about her. All of
Girl.
that with your big nasty unwashed ass. I mean, how do you do that? And no, I mean, even if I never had a frame of reference from a relationship standpoint, she would still be nasty. I
Mm.
mean, nah, and my siblings have messed with some nasty girls. You know, so I'll say nasty, as in they'll do anything, and everybody. So we all know that. What makes me angry about her is she's a nasty bitch, and you know you
She's
can be
very
nasty. You can.
mean.
She's very mean. So not only the things that come out of her mouth are filthy and disgusting, but also the things that go in. She's overweight, too much food, and shout out to all my big girls or whatever. But I mean, it could also be from
I mean,
sucking
but we
some
got to be
dick.
honest,
How
guys.
many
Look,
calories is in that?
but
Yeah,
let me just say something too about weight. We got to be honest, guys. Yeah, I'm not a skinny person, so I'm not coming to you from a place of, oh, I'm skinny. Let me tell you, it's a discipline. People could have surgery. At the end of the day, just because you have surgery, it's a tool. You still have to be
yeah,
very disciplined in your eating. There are people who end up in the hospital 2 weeks after having a sleeve or bypass surgery because they have
absolutely.
ate so much. Now you've got a hole in your stomach and you are probably about 30 minutes from dying. Okay. There are people
Mhm.
who've died after sleeve surgeries. There are people who have eaten themselves into very painful situations.
Or
There's people who have
dehydration.
it's
Yeah.
awful. So it's a
Mhm.
very big discipline. Um, Eating, period. And one other thing about weight is I'm going to say this, guys. We have to, if we're going to like talk female empowerment and stuff, look, preserve your knees, preserve your hips, preserve your ankles, preserve your mind. Do you know overweight? You are more likely to have things like Alzheimer's, of course, heart disease, all of these things that we are subjected
Cancer.
to as Black women,
Mhm.
period. But being overweight, it's even more so. So don't think that I'm not in the struggle and I'm coming from a place of superiority. Maybe that's just my platform because I'm not afraid to talk about weight. I'm not afraid to talk.
Absolutely.
Why is it like okay to say someone's skinny, but it's not okay to say someone's fat? If you take the stigma out of the word fat and just understand, like, okay, you're chunky, like, what's the big deal? Like, are we telling you something you don't know when you bought a size 22 or a size 24 or a size 18 or a size maybe over a 10? It's not to call
Mhm.
someone not attractive. There's plenty of beautiful and nicely shaped large women, skinny women. But at the end of the
Mhm.
day, if you are of a larger size, it is a health risk. And if
It's
it's
a
okay
health
to
risk.
tell people not to do this and
Mhm.
not to do that, if women truly care about other women, it's just not like, why can't you say something about it? Why is that you being coming from a place that you think you're better? I'm not going to
Yeah,
sit
and
there and
that.
let you drink a fifth of alcohol. I'm not going to sit there and let you, run your career in the ground if I'm your friend. I'm going to tell
So
you I
that's what I
care
just say.
about you. Push away from the table.
Yes. And I
Let's
was
go
going
for
to
a
say,
walk.
I'm not gonna ever tell Liv not to drink out of a Crown Royal bottle with a straw or to take it to the head because it's absolutely freaking hilarious. But then I find it hilarious that when I first came on the line, and this is another thing, read people, get an education. We know, and I'm gonna step back because I have ADD. One thing, Liv's weight has nothing to do with being disciplined. We all know she know how to hold. We all know she can find a man. So what does that have to do with discipline? If you're disciplined in one area of your
Well, it's
life,
pick your poison. It's pick your poison. She doesn't care about her. I opened up with self-loathing. So sex, men, yeah, that's her medicine. That's her drug. The
correct.
self-loathing fuels the lack of care for your body and your physicality and the obsession with makeup and hair. You're trying to dress up what you are tearing down. Okay?
That's
She's
crazy. So she
she's
must
putting a
not
nice
like the
face
kids
on.
either.
Yeah.
She must not like the kids either because there's no way in hell I would be selling hair oil, and I love the children. So look, her other parent would know that I love her children.
Mhm.
However, that nasty bitch again, you have hair oil, your edges are thin. If I never saw the children, but you have the nerve, and then she asked me to use the hair oil. How do I look like I want to be bald? I'm just trying to figure all of this out with her. And then coming after the reactors, how would you know who to come after if you never watched him? That's all I want to
Girl,
know.
girl. And why do your men know exactly who to come to when they fall out with you? Why do they know exactly what to do to expose you? Cuz word on the street is that that's what you watch all day. You and Jasmine.
Yeah, girl,
Okay? That's your
cause
favorite program. We're what's popping at the house.
took me out every time. I am
I wish
still
I would
taken out
sit
on
and
last
listen to
night.
someone tell me about me. I wish I would.
I've never
That
sat and
that
talked to
that
my
would be
husband
like,
about another woman. That's the whole deal. That whole part. My husband and I, we don't sit around and especially talking about a woman on a regular basis. You're not even supposed to be. This is what my mother taught me. You don't even have a woman sitting around your man all like that, whether she's your friend, not your friend, or whatever. But
well,
it is what it is.
she's an interesting person. I think she made some veiled threats last night from the standpoint of, yeah, you'll never know where I pop up. I'm like, girl, really? Are you going to get on a plane? Okay.
With no gas
I'm
money, girl,
with no
please.
money. But
But we
To
do know she will
Marsuita's
drive
point,
though.
we
Mhm.
did see I saw Olivia do an Instagram post. I saw the nails and I was like, "Oh, she went and got her nails done." But Marsuita, I don't know how many of you guys caught that. But yes, Olivia, I'm going to go check that out on Instagram real quick.
Yeah, she
Let me
got it
see.
with I guess with I don't know if it was art or just a dollar bill or I don't even know, but she's a cheapo. You are fucking for free. She could have when she was sucking on that dirty homeless dick, she could have put that on her OnlyFans. You talking about hustling backwards.
Well, that would be admitting something about yourself, that you are now like getting paid for porn or sex tapes. And, I
But she
think that
wasn't
enters.
paid for it.
Well, I'm just saying that would be confirming, what's really real is that you engage in a certain type of behavior. So as long
Mhm.
as she's doing it and people don't always get to see it, you don't necessarily have to cop to it. If you go on OnlyFans and give someone a blowjob, I mean that could be a problem. Like that you're doing something now, and maybe she doesn't want that tag. Okay, so I'm
Well,
looking
we
at her
all know she did
Instagram.
it on live. Yeah.
I'm looking at her Instagram right now, and let me tell
Mhm.
you this. So let's look at this real quick. She's got please help, and she's got the swipe up to her GoFundMe. she's driving somewhere. I don't know what this is, but she's going. It looks like she's going across some sort of causeway. I don't know where she's going. Maybe she's heading down to the Keys, but I don't know.
Girl, or back to the shelter to pick up Zola. But that's
Back
not
to
my
go pick up
business.
what's his damn name. I
Look,
don't
that's not my
see.
business. It was
If
like
she puts it
a
on the YouTube
picture.
streets, we can talk about it. So in a way, it becomes our
Oh, well, that's
business.
go on.
That's
Yeah.
the rule I created. If she may not like that, too bad. Um, that's what I say. Um, so yeah, I'm looking at her Instagram. Do I see the nails now, or did some? Oh, there they are. Okay, let's see. Let's look at. So yeah, so she's got United States. Basically, she's got elements of dollar bills. So let me read this and see what this says. I need money, guys. I'm broke. Um, oh, just a manicure. The nail job looks. The nail, I don't know. Maybe she's got those clear nails on there. I don't think it looks amazing. Girl, what made you think it was a good idea to post up these nails after begging for money and trashing your kid's family last night? What the fuck? Red pill, you go. Okay. That's what Red Pill commented, guys. If you haven't seen this, so you drove yourself into your children's kidnapper's car to go get your nails done with donated money. Wow, you're a motherfucking clown. You really are. Okay, the comments are on fire, guys. I would go check them
Crazy.
out. This is
Definitely not.
this is
But can
funny.
I say? Yeah, can I say
Yes,
something?
ma'am.
And you guys can go to the GoFundMe. I'm not telling you to report her or anything like that. But Stella probably needs to read the GoFundMe guidelines. If they find that you have, in fact, lied, scammed, or whatever, it says directly that they work with local authorities. How many times have we seen on television that, hey, this couple or this person was arrested for scamming on GoFundMe? They absolutely do go after you. They're not going to say, okay, well, you have $400 or $445 and we're just going to freeze it and that's it. Your ass going to jail. You could possibly go to jail, big dummy. But
Well, if
Stella
they
didn't
feel
read that
that you are
part.
trying to do fraudulent stuff on their platform,
Yes.
um, because it's a legit crowdsourcing site to be
Mhm.
able to collect money to accomplish positive goals. I mean, I'm sure they're in the business of creating positive outcomes and giving people a platform
Yes.
to make that happen. And if it's sullied with people who are just trying to collect money to get their nails done, lip injections, and support dusty boyfriends, yeah, that's not what it's here for. But
No.
that being said, it's okay to post pictures of Robin and Christian who look like twins um on her page. So it's really weird that somehow she thinks, and there's a lot of men who talk about this. STL, I don't know if you're still listening, and ladies, this
Mhm.
is one of the things that you hear talked about on men's channels quite a bit, is that there's such a undervaluing of having a man in the household. I really think that whoever has babies with a woman like Olivia, yet you don't really matter, because maybe Stella had one of those households where men don't matter and it doesn't count. And because she valued her struggle a certain type of way, that it just doesn't, those are my
Yes,
kids,
well,
not
yeah,
our
well,
kids.
Olivia said that.
There's
Yes.
just such an overtone of my kid.
Okay. So we can repeat what she said, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
On YouTube. Okay, so Olivia told us that her mom was a prostitute,
Oh,
or whether it was for Olivia said that, and I'm sure some reactors can go back into our live, but you said that your mama, because that's where Methane Stella, she said that. She said that her mom was not a good mom. Now she said some things about her daddy she never did show, and she may not know who her daddy is. The man may not. I hate it for anybody that's had that doesn't have a man in their life. But she said her mother was in and out. And what I'm trying to figure out is her mom is a real estate agent because Olivia said it. But Olivia says she lives from house to house. Make it make sense. So I'm just trying to figure out. And then when she had the picture of her and her sister in the molded tub, when she said her mother had her sleeping on cardboard boxes, Olivia said that. So her life wasn't shit. So of course she wouldn't know what to do, how to do it, how to feel with a family that actually loves and values each other. But that is still no excuse for being a nasty whore. And I mean what I say. And Olivia,
So
you have my
maybe,
number because I ain't never changed it.
so maybe
Now that part.
there were a lot of men in and out of the house,
And her
and
mama
everybody was
bled.
uncle this one, uncle that one. Maybe there was a lot of that, and I don't know. I don't know enough about like the early years, and that would be
Me
interesting
either.
to know more
Yeah.
about. But I do.
She said.
She needs
So.
to understand that you had I have there was a lady that I worked with. She was actually my manager. Her marriage fell apart, so she was a divorcee. She went to the sperm bank. She had twins, and they are hers 100%. She's going to have to explain, yeah, I don't have a daddy for you. Your daddy is a man who donated his seed so that I could make you without a husband. If that's what you want, which I can't even speak from that frame of reference, but I think it's an alternative for a woman who wants to have a child and doesn't see, like, she doesn't want to run the risk of having something like this happen when she's been in a situation where a marriage has fallen apart and doesn't want to have to deal with custody and stuff like that. I think it's an amazing way to fulfill your need to be a mom. But when you have a man that is on deck, it's not right
And
to keep
Gerard
someone
was.
from their child.
Yes. And Gerard was, and I'm not going to speak on it much because it really did. And that what was triggering for me, that nasty stuff that she mentioned about that child. But that wasn't the only time she's mentioned children. However,
Well,
Liv
just to set the...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you just say what you want to say because I was going to say something real mean.
Well, to set the record straight on that, and it's in my video that I have posting later on.
Thank you.
Understand that what Olivia talked about, first of all, I mean, I don't know how much she knows of the situation, but at the end of the day, high level, so you guys know, as moms, we entrust babysitters, home daycares, things of that nature, paid people who care for children. And you have a young mom who had a paid babysitter on the job. Unbeknownst to her, there's a woman who is not stable, who was harming multiple children.
Correct.
Okay. And did prison time for what was done to, and is still in prison for what she did to the child of who on these YouTube streets as Niecy and other families. Okay, this is a criminal. This was a criminal situation, and no one's dropping their kid off to be harmed. Okay,
and the
Niecy
emotional,
took care of this child until the day that he took his last breath. Okay, so to say one thing, the worst part about that, and thank you to Olivia for bringing that up, Olivia Pope, is the fact that she took a tragedy. Just imagine any of you dropping your kid off over to the home daycare, over to Nana. Farrah didn't always go to a brick and mortar daycare spot. She went to, but it was a city. The city would do their investigations. She went to a home daycare. But we know that nasty shit, terrible shit happens at academies, okay? Especially back in the 80s and the 90s, that stuff was kind of rampant, okay?
Yes. And she didn't know about this person, and people need to understand that
she didn't know that this person was sick or demented.
Well, yes, because that person wasn't even supposed to be around her child. She did not know. But nobody should ever have to explain the hurt of losing a child. You just shouldn't do that. I don't wish harm on her, and I'm definitely not going to wish harm on those children. But you a low ass person to talk about a baby like that. Clee didn't deserve what happened to him. Niecy doesn't.
Yeah, but she
deserve
made
to
it
be
seem like
dogged
it
out
all
the
happened
way.
yesterday. This was over the
No,
course of 20 plus years, guys.
where she
Niecy
took
as
care of
a
her baby.
and that yes, who stayed a young man that stayed that was basically the same as he was from as a baby, guys. And just to
At the time, yeah.
yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
mean,
I'm sorry.
it's like she compacted it all so quickly and made it out to be like she put her kids in harm's way and that was neglectful. Olivia, when you are sitting up there getting drunk and getting high and drinking fists of alcohol with Brandon, who you have to call the police on, and you had a man kick in your door. Okay, you had a man kick in your door with your kids sleeping. And okay, these are black people. The police are being called. Do you know what could have happened in that house? Like
And
anything
both
could have
men,
happened.
yes,
Anything.
but
So,
both
but you're
men have
lucky.
alleged, yes, but both men have alleged, and let's be clear about this. Both men have alleged that she abused her children. Both men have said, we had Brandon that came up at first, and he said he didn't want to elaborate. And he was saying, well, pray for the children. Zolo, when he left the first and second time, she's
Look,
dogging out the kids. I'm talking about her.
what about her putting hands on a man?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
pulling a gun.
What about her putting
Gerard.
hands on Zolo? What about her putting hands on Brandon? What about her putting hands on Gerard?
And people take that as oh, he's a man, this, that, and the other. Let me explain something to women. I gone through a situation where a woman was putting her hands on my brother, and he was raised. My mother raised, my brothers. You don't hit women. Walk away. Well, this woman murdered my brother. That's what, and that was my biggest fear for Gerard this whole entire time, is that she would kill him. She pulled a gun on him. That wasn't for play. And you guys need to know that men are victims of abuse all the time. It isn't cute. It's nothing to gloss over. It doesn't mean that he's less of a man or anything like that. I wish my brother had beat the hell out of the woman that murdered him. I do. I wish I had a chance to turn back the hands of time, but that has been my biggest concern, that she would have killed him. And she most definitely weaponized her whiteness and his blackness. He could have been killed. Those kids could have been shot in that car. You see what I'm saying? You don't do that. And I will prosecute her for that. I don't know what the laws are in Louisiana, in Florida, as far as that's concerned. But I would definitely, men need to stop letting this, and women too, but men, you need to stop just saying, okay, I'm going to leave it alone, this, that, and the other. You need to start saying something. And I know it's not a whole lot of men on here, but women with children, protect your sons from bitches like Liz. So
okay.
that's all I wanted to say.
And protect yourself. I mean, at the end of the day, own your feelings, ladies. At the end of the day, if you want to have a baby, have a baby. At the end of the day, protect yourself, because don't have, what I mean? Like, if you already know that you're not in love with someone, girl, happiness is just one decision away. There is no need to stay anywhere that you don't want to be, because it's not going to get better. It's going to exacerbate. It's going to amplify what's worse. And there is so much life to live out here, and there is no reason for anyone to be out here and be unhappy. It's all about choices. And we see someone who is making choice after choice after choice and thinks that she's going to get, and I'm going to use the words of Zolo, a cookie. Okay? How many of us heard him say that? You want a cookie? I mean, girl, if you didn't love Gerard, you should have walked away a long time ago. You're not going to get a cookie cake, okay? There's no cookie cake. You're not getting a retirement party. Nothing. All you're getting right now is a summer alone, okay? Because if you and Zolo aren't together, girl, you are Dolo at the apartment. That's what you got, okay? You chose all of this and you are reaping the harvest of the seeds that you planted, my dear, which is a summer to yourself. Okay? On that note, ladies, I think we've had an amazing conversation. Olivia Pope, thank you for coming up and chatting with me. Marsuita, I think I love you. Thank you so much. You were absolutely amazing. All of you ladies are just so awesome. And, there's a lot of new people, and I thank you so much for coming through and giving an opportunity and making community and family in this chat room. Because I see a lot of you guys talk, and it's a very familial community that we have here, and I love it. And I'm so happy that you like to come here and do that. So, welcome anytime. Um, and don't be shy to be in the bushes, guys. And if you're not subscribed, please do so. And that way you'll know next time I go live or drop another video. I will have a video going a little bit more into detail, kind of just like my first impressions of what happened last night. Not completely a rehash of today. I tried to avoid things that I said in the video just so it's not boring to you guys. But I hope that you all will come back a little bit later. Probably like I think I said it for like 7:15 or something like that. So we can do this chat thing all over again. But I'll be down in the chat with you guys, so it'll be fun. So I'm gonna make sure I get all my cooking done before so I can actually just be sitting and enjoy chatting with you guys. So I hope you guys have a good evening. And I just want to preface, well, I just want to go out and saying, um, I'm not going to be ignorant to say that we don't know that Olivia is not going through a hard time at this moment. But Olivia, just as I'd stated before, you're one decision away from changing your life. You don't have to let this be the defining moment. If you don't like the way things are going right now, I mean, you should be making some definite changes, like as I'm speaking. If you're over here listening, um, you should be making changes right now. You should be making changes right now because no one's going to do this for you but you. You can't expect anyone to. Like you say, you're a grown ass woman. Take control of your life and make it what you want it to be. But right now, what you're doing is flushing your YouTube career down the toilet. A lot of us will still be watching. You're not flushing it for me because I'm still watching, and a lot of people are. I would just hate to see you unravel into a lesser version of this because I think you want to be successful, but what it takes is some work. Okay, it takes some work, and when you're not the prettiest and the smartest and the most fabulous and all of those things, yeah, you have to work even a little bit harder. So maybe things have come easy for her. I'm not sure, but girl, you're at a point in your life where you got to put in some work. And that's just all there is to it if you want to see change in your life. That's just it. Um, Guys, if you don't have anything else for me, I'm gonna go ahead and hit on this outro that I think also strikes a chord with our friend. Next time, I promise I come back tomorrow. Jasmine, it's all about you, boo boo. I actually had a couple of videos queued up to do some reactions, but I might work on those tonight, and we're gonna get caught up on Jasmine, see what Keisha's been up to, Strong Mommy Chrissy, I guess, and anyone else you guys want to talk about, let me know on Instagram if there's anyone else. And Steph M, I've been thinking about what you asked me for a video, and I'm going to try and do something with that this weekend. So I have not forgotten about you, and that's it. So no other announcements at this time. So Fran, do not waste your time. Do not waste your time or breath. She will not listen to anyone because she's She's that boss. Well, yeah, underboss, right? Um, yes, mother said she was little then. Liv said she used to take me and wait, hold on. Yes, my mother said she was little then. Liv, she said, used to take me and twin. Every time she picked us up, I realized the babysitter would mistreated me, so she had sent us to Haitian school. Is that NC Peters? Yeah, there's crazy people out here, guys. Absolutely crazy people. Um, NC Peters, I'm so sorry that that happened to you. But luckily your mom was on the job. She was paying attention. And it's not to say other moms aren't on the job, but sometimes people are good at covering up their shit. And if somebody is a sick, demented person who doesn't understand, who I don't want to say doesn't understand, who's I don't know, creepy, awful, and does bad things to kids, that's nobody's fault, especially when you've done your due diligence and everything looks okay. But yeah, putting it squarely on Nisi's shoulders, what happened to her son, um, that was despicable. And she's, I don't even know what to say about it. She's just it's sad, it's pathetic. I don't even want to use the word sad when I really mean pathetic. Um, it's a very awful situation, and she's not showing her best self. And so guys, look, all we can do is watch. It's a very interesting story, and that's really all I can say about it. That's why I watch. I'd be curious for you guys, when this if you drop down into the comments and tell me why you watch. If you're watching this on the replay, why are you watching? Train wreck, fascination, interesting topics, you're just watching the reactions, what is it? Let us know, because I think it's interesting to kind of dissect why, because honestly she's even got the men watching, so because it makes them feel a way, right? um the link is dead for the GoFundMe, as well it should be. Fran, we experienced ladies have to do our best to nurture and guide. But as my dad said, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You know what? Um, and they'll drink when they're thirsty enough. You know what I mean? That's probably like the other side of that, right? Um, and then hopefully they'll know where the water is, and they won't hopefully they won't have waited until the well ran dry, right? Um, Very wise words, that your father told you, and it's true. You just can't. She has to worry about herself, and she may be happy trying to pull strings and make puppets out of men. That's okay. I mean, that's not what we have to do. Oftentimes when we see behavior like this, it just lets us know what we need to be doing, right? Because at the end of the day, it's self-preservation first. And if seeing content like this helps you, or help you see something in you to make a change, or to course correct, or to like step your game up, then you know what? It's a win. It's a win. And she doesn't have to know that's the reason why you watch. But sometimes we do watch this type of content because it makes us feel a little bit better about ourselves, and it highlights something that we never want to be. So, you know what I'm saying? Like that's some real stuff, guys. Guys, I'm gonna go because I got to tend to my baby girl. I love you guys so much. You guys are awesome, and it's just been like the time has just flown by. I will see you guys tomorrow, and we will talk about all things mom. Olivia, you don't get dedicated time tomorrow, boo boo. I'm so sorry. At least not here. So anyway, guys, let's go ahead and say our goodbyes.
I will always bring this up for the rest of his motherfucking
Don't
life.
get me wrong, I'm still a petty bitch, and I'll still talk my shit. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a petty bitch, and I'll still
I'm not beat.
talk my shit.
I'm not beat. I'm not beat. I'm not beat.
Whatever.
I'm not beat.
There's different
I'm not
technicalities to the shit. But
I'm not beat. I'm not beat. I'm not
I'm
beat.
just saying, whatever negativity. Hold on. Hello?
will always bring this up for the rest of his motherfucking life. I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch.
Don't get me wrong, I'm still a petty bitch, and
I'm
I'll
that
still
bitch.
talk my shit.
I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm just playing.
Don't get me wrong, I'm still a petty bitch, and I'll still talk my shit.
I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm just playing.
Don't get me wrong, I'm still a petty bitch, and I'll still talk my shit.
I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm that bitch. I'm just playing. I will always bring this up for the rest of his motherfucking life. I will always bring this up for the rest of his motherfucking life. I will always bring this up for the rest of his motherfucking life. Ooh, why Fashion Nova keep hitting me up though? Cause I'm that bitch. 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 I'm just playing.